Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Pasco County Board of County Commission meeting of 10 o'clock a.m. meeting of November 12th, 2024. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. Prior to proceeding, I would like to take a moment to recognize a valued member of the Public Works team who recently we recently lost this last week. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family, and let's have a moment of silence. Amen. Please rise with me to the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence, and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Waitman?
I'm here.
Commissioner Starkey? Here. Commissioner Yeager? Here. Commissioner Mariano?
Here.
Chairman Ron Oakley?
Here. Let me know we have all 5 commission members here and we have a quorum. At this time for public comment, this is one way the board does not engage during the public comment period on this agenda moment. Now is the time for public comments. This is giving an opportunity to comment on any current or future agenda item coming before the board and under the board's review. Today's public comment will be as follows. First, we will take public comment for those that are here in person, and then we will take those that are signed up pre-registered on WebEx and currently on queue. We request that when you address the board, comments are directed not personally against a commissioner or team member, but rather to the issues. This provides mutual respect for the board members and the public. After stating your name and address for the clerk, 3-minute timer will be activated. After 2 minutes, single beep will indicate you have 1 minute left. When the time is up, two beeps will sound and you should be closing your statements. WebEx participants will be disconnected automatically. Madam Clerk, do we have folks signed up for public comment?
I have 4 signed up. I'm going to call you. Please approach in the order that you're called. Missy Lowell, Justin McPadden, Nancy Hazelwood, and Christine Hankerson.
Name and address for the board.
Missy Coyle, 8373 Matthew Drive, Newport Richey, Florida.
Okay, pull that mic over to you a little bit. It's hard to hear. Okay.
Should I repeat?
All right.
Justin McPadden, 192 Planter Road, Spring Hill, Florida.
Good morning, County Commissioners. On behalf of Alliance for Healthy Communities, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for all the assistance to our residents of Pasco County during the hurricanes, and for helping us open up a resource center for the community, and providing some resources and working with us to do that to help others throughout the time of need with the, for our public.
Yes, and this has been a really trying month, this last month, for everybody involved for Pasco County, and we just want to thank you all for your dedication to this county and for acting quickly on this traumatic experiences that we have here. So thank you all.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Next person? Or persons?
Nancy Hazelwood.
Good morning, 34110, a nice place. Good to see y'all again. I want to also thank you.
Name and address, please.
Oh, thank
You
you.
should have that
34110, a nice place. I want to thank you all for your attention to the flooding also. I heard some good things, especially about Jack Mariano being right on top of some issues. So thank you for your attention. I was also wondering if maybe it's not time to have our representatives to Swiftmud's board update some rules and regulations so this doesn't happen again. I know people that this has been happening 2 or 3 times to, and maybe it's time to take a look at them and see if we can't update some of them. The other issue I have is number 17 on your agenda. It's about a test site for a well field by Tampa Bay Water. It is in the Northeast Rural Protected Area, and Tampa Bay Water says it's for growth in East Pasco. So I've got a couple of questions. This test site is on near Christian and on Powerline Road. That is pretty darn close to the Hernando County line. So if this is for growth in East Pasco, why isn't it being put in Central Pasco, someplace around Zephyr Hills, so you can get your water out there? There's a lot of money involved in doing this test site that you all are going to vote on today. And so I can see that they're probably going to make it happen in the Northeast Rural Area Plan. Our suspicions are in the Northeast is that this is going to be for developing in Northeast Rural Area. You've got this water in here, just run some pipes out to our area. And right now we're all on well, and that's helping us stay rural. Most of the people in the Northeast Rural Area Plan don't know that this is going on. I mean, I just caught up with it Sunday. And everyone out there is on well right now, so they're going to be concerned. They received no notice of this plan except if you were abutting the place, and that happened about 2 months ago. Tampa Bay Water is saying they will have a community meeting, but after you all have already approved this, it's kind of like, hey, we're thinking about putting an interstate next to your house, and we've already approved thinking about it and going to test it, but we wanted to let you know. And we will tell you how this won't hurt you. So, being that this has been in works for a year, and I think we should have had a meeting right at the beginning of this, maybe y'all could put this on hold or something until more of the community knows about it. And so, or else, what's with all the secrets on it? Nobody knows about it. Thank you all.
Thank you for your comments. David Allen, you back there in the back? Or someone in utilities to speak to her to let her know what this issue's about. Ms. Hazelwood, if you'll step outside with David there, he'll explain that to you. Thank you. Anyone else?
The last speaker I have signed up is Christine Hankerson.
Name and address.
Good morning. My name is Christine Hankerson. I live in Longleaf in Meadow Point, CDD 2. I came today to talk about an article that was in the local newspaper about will Pasco get enforcement cameras in school speed zones. Commissioner Starkey brought this up at the February 6th meeting. She noted that the state legislature has authorized the use of cameras in school speed zones. The cameras technology will certainly help those that are speeding. Coming over here today, 3 cars passed me in our 15-mile-an-hour speed zone. One almost hit me, and the car on my left had to veer out of the way so that they would not get hit. Thankfully, there were no children in the road. We have been talking about this for a very long time. I spoke to a Pasco sheriff's deputy last month who said the only way to get rid of these speeders, and we've had another death on County Line Road from speeding, is to ticket these people. And they say they don't have enough money to patrol during our school zone times. So Commissioner Mariano in this article mentioned that, I tell you, these lead light cameras in Port Richey and Newport Richey, they were supposed to get rid of them a few years ago, and they're making too much money, and they're not going to make that move. I don't know any parent or citizen or grandparent that puts a dollar amount on children. He voiced concerns that if the revenue becomes too attractive, the county might become reluctant to pull the cameras, whether or not they're effective. Last time I was here, I already told you 2 children were hit in the school zone where the crossing guard was taking them across on Mansfield. Luckily, the children were not transported to a hospital or killed. So our community has been talking about this for a very long time. And I bring it before you again today because it's not if, but when we have a death, and who we have contacted regarding making changes, which it seems that the state has money programmed for that. And so I hope you reconsider before there is a tragic accident where one of our children get killed, or those of us who get hit because people are speeding down County Line Road and Mansfield. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Do I have anyone else? That's all that was signed up.
Anyone on WebEx?
No one signed up?
No one on WebEx?
No one on WebEx.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak this time? Come forward and state your name and address.
My name is Tara Castro, and I'm at 26445 Lawrence Avenue in Wesley Chapel. That's in the back of Quail Hollow, right by Cypress Creek. I'm really concerned in regards to the building that we have and our infrastructure that has not been followed prior to approving all these buildings. Our schools, Quail Hollow School on Quail Hollow Boulevard, you've done away with the police that detour traffic. We're only 1 lane each way. However, getting in and out of that area is a cluster bomb. There is no way, there is no direction. Kids cannot walk to school down Quail Hollow because there is no sidewalks. It says 35, but we go 45, 55, 60 miles an hour. Who cares? If we build this community that you guys are that is set to approve on Quail Hollow Boulevard by Cypress Creek, you know where all that water is gonna go? It's gonna go to Cypress Creek. My other question is, do we know how much more water Cypress Creek can handle from these builders? Because we haven't considered anyone in the existing community that got flooded out not even a month ago. We're still pumping water. I'm not flooded, but my fellow citizens of Florida, they're flooded. This is not acceptable. You guys continue to build, but you don't do anything. Mr. Oakley, let me talk to you about the street that's right by the school, or right by 54, named after you, Oakley and 54. That street, as I talked to Seth, has been flooded prior to Milton, and it's a new road that was built in the last 8 years. That road right by Marathon at 54, before you get to West Grove, floods out every thunderstorm. Not supposed to do that with stormwater drainage. Public Works, what's going on? Why is that not cleaned out? Why is that not addressed? Right after that light, there's another light, Pink Flamingo on Oakley. You built apartments, now you're building a two-story Target. Where's that water gonna go? We just shut that road down between Dayflower and Pink Flamingo when Debbie Downer, the tropical storm, came down. Now you guys want to build more, and we're building a 2-story Target, and then we're building an Amazon, and we're building a Target distribution. How much more are we gonna handle on Old Pasco Road? That's not a 2-lane road all the way down to 54. Certain parts are becoming 2 lanes, but it's not. And I'm gonna urge you guys to stop the building towards Cypress Creek. And I would urge you to continue to push for Army Corps of Engineers to come in and fix the damage that has been caused by these builders building 3 to 4 feet higher and diverting the water down to existing homes. This is not fair to the existing homeowners of Pasco County. And I urge you to do the right thing, because it hasn't been done in the last 4 years. If you've driven down 75, like I just explained to the Planning Development Drive, from about 3 to 6 at PM, all 4 lanes are blocked up. Where did the traffic impact study show that this was going to impact with all this building that has exploded in Pasco County? What's going to happen to those roads? I urge you to take the right thing.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Does anyone else in the audience wish to speak at this time? Come forward, state your name and address.
I have to catch my breath. I just got here. Anyways, my name is Michael T. Houston. I live at 3204 Hidden Lake Drive, Wesley Chapel, sometimes Zephyr Hills, whatever they want to choose. What I'm here to talk about is my park in which I live in. It got over flooded. We have 3 new subdivisions that they built around us. They came in and they literally made their grade higher than us. So our park has became the cesspool of everybody which is around us. The address of the community I live in is 34301 Countryside Drive. It's referred to as Timberlake Estates. Timberlake Estates is basically, you have modular homes there. We have several retention ponds, which I get taxed for because they're not spring fed, but they're nothing more than retention ponds. And they charge me because they say I have waterfront property. My biggest thing is that, yes, this was a bad storm. They say, I talk to a lot of the people, they tell me, well, this has been the worst that they've ever seen in the last 20, 30 years. Well, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen next year or the year after. My problem is they're building all these homes in our area, thousands upon thousands of homes. I see no culverts. I see nothing being built that is going to take that water away from the area, other than the problem that I am sitting dead in the middle of all these homes that are building their property higher than ours. And is Swift Mud, are these the people that are supposed to take care of the ditches and everything? That's a question. I don't know. I'm learning about this. If Swift Mud has to do with the county, why are they not cleaning out all these ditches and everything around us? They're also, the culverts are not being put in, but I can reassure you that culverts are being put in all these new properties to get their water away. The day after the hurricane and the flood, I literally got in a vehicle, a big tall pickup truck. We drove around and I went to 3 of these properties. The properties' names are Bridgehaven Subdivision, which is to the west of us. Then there's Monroe Manor Meadow, which is to the east of us. And then we have Ashbury Village, which is to south of us. So we have these 3 properties that came in, built their land high, and now we are the recipients of all their runoff. The thing of it is that if they're putting culverts to get their water away from them, why are we not having culverts and ditches made for our consumption of all that water to flow to the north of us? Because from what we saw, the water came from, I'm sorry, is that the end? Okay, well, you got the gist of it. I thank you very much for your time.
What was your address again?
Pardon me?
What was your address?
3204 Hidden Lake Drive. And I am planning on, I was a snowbird, but I am going to make permanent residence here. I just got to change my driver's license and stuff.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, is there anyone else in the audience wish to speak at this time? Public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment, and we'll move to consent. I have a pull sheet.
Can do resolutions first?
Well-
What are you gonna do?
My records don't show when the resolution starts. It shows after consent. So
Okay.
either I've got a wrong record or, but I can take care of consent and then do resolutions.
That's fine.
Because one of them's a time certain at 11:45 anyway, so it won't take long, I don't believe, in consent items. I have a pull sheet with C10, pull and revise, C30, pull and revise, C31, pull and revise, C46, pull and revise, C51, pull and discuss, C11, pull, C15, pull, C36, pull, C46, pull, C47, pull, C49, pull. And I believe, and that's all I have on my consent.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
we had C17 as well.
He wants to add C17.
Okay, we'll add it because
Pull and discuss?
I don't have it. Pull and discuss?
Yeah, I'm just adding up.
Okay. We'll put it right down here. All right. Okay. For the rest items, before I go to these pulled items, rest items on the agenda, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Now we'll move to the pulled items, C10, pull and revise.
Good morning, David Engel, Planning and Economic Development Director. I'm here for C10, pull and revise. In the agenda memo on the first paragraph in the background summary, there's a Scrivener's error. We're deleting RSQ and putting in RFP to identify the actual matter.
Move approval and note of change.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passed 5-0. Move on to C30. Pull and revise.
Morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Alex Parnes, County Surveyor. C30, we recommend pull and revise. There was a error between the electronic document that was uploaded and the paper document that we have for the bond. It has since been fixed and delivered. We recommend pull and revise.
Entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Motion passed 5-0. Move on to C31, pull and revise.
Yes, this one, we had a discrepancy, not a discrepancy, there was some new language on the agenda memo. We did not include information on 2 riders on the bond. There was actually 2, and the memo said 1. Since has been corrected and delivered, we recommend pull and revise.
Move approval C31.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Move on to C46.
Thank you.
Pull and revise.
Good morning, Keith Wiley, Director of Parks, Recreation, Natural Resources. C46, we had to update the fiscal year in the agenda memo to reflect 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Move to C51, Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason I pulled it, this is a state mandate that we have to do. It's a long-term contract. It is a lot of money. What I'd like to do is maybe get a history, maybe not necessarily today, but a history, a presentation about what has been done, what the successes are, and how the future holds for it. So I'm going to make a motion to approve it, but I want to just make it to the attention of the board. I'd like to see a presentation back. If not in a couple of weeks, a month is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So move approval.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Move on to C11 is to pull. C15 pull. C36 pull. C46 pull. C-47 pull, C-49 pull.
Oh, I didn't have C-49.
That's all items to be pulled, right?
From
But
the-
they're not to be withdrawn, at least unless the wrong terminology.
So do
Is
we
the
need a
clerk-
motion?
Yeah,
The
well,
clerk
yep.
the clerk apparently has comments on all those items.
Correct. On each of the
Okay.
items, the clerk's office requests these items to be pulled contingent upon the clerk's review. The originals were not provided to the clerk's office in a timely manner, so the board record's full review process could not be completed.
Move approval C11 with the clerk's final sign-off after.
Second. I got a motion second on C-11. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Can we take these in group?
Can we take these all? in-
No, you need individual
By
motion.
each one, so
Move
next
to
is
approve
sit.
C-15 with the clerk's.
Got a motion?
Second?
Is it the same?
It's the
for all
same.
of them?
It's the same.
Okay. All right, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Move to approve C-36 with the clerk's.
That passed
recommendation.
5-0.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on C, what is it, C-45, I guess?
C-36.
Or C-36? All right, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Move to approve C-46 with the clerk's recommendation.
Second.
I got a motion and a second on C-46. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Move to approve C-47 with the clerk's recommendation.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on C-47. All those say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. C-49.
Move to approve C-49 with the clerk's recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. C-17 has been pulled to discuss. Mr. Mariano?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, listen to Ms. Hazelwood's comments. I heard about this coming forward. I know there's a bunch of information about there, why they think it's a good thing to take a look at. I just think we should maybe reach out to the public, do a public meeting to discuss it before we move forward with it.
Well, who are our Tampa Bay Water representatives right now?
Myself?
Both of you? Because I remember them talking about this when I was on Tampa Bay Water. Is the intent to, what is the intent? Is it to put one well in, or is it to do a new well field, or?
Mr. Chair, if I could ask David Allen to come up.
David Allen will give us that information. But it is a test well and only a test well. So.
Yes, good morning, Board. David Allen, Utilities Director. Yeah, this item is a request from Tampa Bay Water for an easement on county-owned property off of Pole Line and Christian Road. And what they're looking to do is drill a test well into the deep aquifer to get water quality and pumping data from that location. And this specific project is one of, I believe, 6 or 7 different regional supply projects that they're considering for implementation for the regional water supply system in 2032. So this is more of an investigative phase of the work that they need to do to determine whether or not this is truly a viable option for them for meeting regional water supply needs in the future.
I don't know the area real well. I'm having a little trouble pulling it up here. Is that part of the 300 acres that we own?
Yes.
Is that where
Yes.
that is?
That's where
Yes.
that is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, north of Dade City.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's right at Christian Road and 301.
okay.
You know where that's at, Jack? Mr. Mariano?
Yes, it is, thank you.
So are you saying don't allow them to have this easement?
I'm saying do a public meeting on it, let the people know what's going on.
Mr. Cavallo?
I think if I could, I think Mr. Allen's comments that this is an investigatory phase of 6 potential plus water supply projects, and that it may or may not come to fruition. They have to gather the data from it. It's a deep, I've had experience in this. These are deep well aquifer tests down in Zone C of the aquifer, which are thousands of feet below the surface. It's more of a saline source. So they have to go through a lot of tests to see if it can even meet the demand as a regional source of supply. And then if it becomes a potentially viable project, I think that's where the public engagement piece should come in, if it's a viable project. But they won't even know unless they do this initial investigation as it stands right now. So it'd be my recommendation to the board to allow it to occur, recognizing that if the project does look like it's technically feasible,
that's when their public engagement process usually starts for water projects. And David, I mean, there's other projects as well, including,
additional
I can add
expansion.
that there's also a second reservoir we're also looking at for a future project, and then we're also looking at deep well brackish water for desal, which makes desal much more cheaper to use that water, and it's cleaner water to take salt out. So
you know, I do have
this is just one of several projects.
I do have a suggestion, Commissioner Mariano, if you'd like. If we can delay this a month, Chuck will be here at the board meeting in December. He was originally scheduled for today, but we had a very packed agenda. And perhaps Tampa Bay Water could come and address any thoughts. I don't know what it does to their schedule, but I mean,
Right, we can check with the general manager.
I like that idea.
And I still think if we're going to delay it 30 days as well, you'd probably have room to do a meeting as well.
So we're going to postpone the vote on this?
I'm going to continue to 30 days, but I'd like to have a public meeting for the citizens to know what we're going to be looking at.
Does this hold up what we need to be doing for Tampa Bay Water on this?
Yeah, we would have to coordinate that with Tampa Bay Water because it's their easement, or and they're the ones that are going to be doing the study, so they would be the most appropriate agency to host any type of public meeting.
Chair?
Yes, sir.
Maybe, would you be able to reach out to them and maybe we can vote on this afternoon or something? If it's
I could make phone call.
Appropriate?
Bring this back this afternoon?
okay, we can do that after
That'll
the
be,
public hearing.
that'll be good.
Okay.
So we'll bring that item back to us, C-17 back to us after public hearing this afternoon.
Good.
Okay. All right, that ends the consent agenda. And we will, Res 1 is actually going to be done at 11:45, time certain. So we'll move on to Res 2, Resolution 2.
Okay, if I have anyone here from the Gulfside Healthcare Services, Gulfside Hospice, please come to the podium.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Heather Rodriguez from the Village Youth.
I'm Juliana Giraldo.
We're here on behalf of our CEO, Linda Ward.
Can you step up to the mic?
We can't hear. That
sound
mic needs to
so-
be turned up if possible because it is very
We're
low
here on
volume.
behalf of our CEO and President, Linda Ward, who couldn't be here today. She regrets that she's unable to be here. So, thank you.
Alrighty, resolution number 25-048, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, declaring the month of November as National Hospice and Palliative Care Month and commending Gulfside Healthcare Services for its outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of Pasco County. Whereas hospice and palliative care provide the highest quality of care to patients and families and bring comfort, love, and respect for all those they serve in communities across the nation and here in Pasco County. And whereas a hospice and palliative care providers take the time to ask what's important to those they are caring for and listen to what their patients and families say. And whereas hospice and palliative care professions, including nurses, social workers, therapists, counselors, health aides, and clergy, provide comprehensive and compassionate care that makes the wishes of each patient and family a priority. And whereas through pain management and symptom control, caregiver training and assistance, and emotional and spiritual support, patients can live fully until their final moments, surrounded and supported by the faces of loved ones, friends, and committed caregivers. And whereas providing quality hospice and palliative care reaffirms our belief in the essential dignity of every person, regardless of age, health, or social status, and that every stage of human life deserves to be treated with the utmost respect and care. And whereas every year, more than 1.6 million Americans living with life-limiting illness and their families receive care from the nation's hospice programs in communities throughout the United States, with 3,938 patients cared for by Gulfside Hospice in Pasco County, and whereas more than 430,000 trained volunteers contribute 21 million hours of service to hospice programs annually, with over 48,000 hours of service being provided locally by Gulfside's 102 active volunteers. And whereas hospice and palliative care providers encourage all people to learn more about options of care and to share their wishes with family, loved ones, and their health care professionals, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby declares the month of November as National Hospice and Palliative Care Month in Pasco County and commends Gulfside Healthcare Services for its outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of Pasco County. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 12th day of November 2024.
Good morning and welcome.
Motion.
Oh, move to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Ms. Starkey?
So I'm sorry Linda couldn't be here this morning, but welcome. And the service that you provide is so important to our community. I know for my mom and my mother-in-law, we were both very grateful to be in the arms of hospice. So it's my honor to sponsor this year. I think I did last year too. I'm not going to come down because I'm not 100%, so I don't want to
Thanks a lot.
share my. I'm almost over it, but just in case, I'm going to be cautious. But I'm sure my fellow board members want to congratulate you as well.
Okay.
I want to say you guys do a phenomenal job. Linda was a great spearhead when she first joined the organization, but the work you do is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, special calling to do what you guys want to do. And not just be with the person who's in transition, but for the families and how they cope with that too. So thank you for what you do. And you're an essential part of our community.
Ms. Yeager?
Yes. So I echo what Commissioner Waitman said. End of life, like for me, is very hard. Some people it's better. Like I'm one that struggles with it, and hospice is just such a blessing at a time when, you know, you need some hope and some caring and loving, and you guys come in and wrap your arms around not only the person but the family. And it's just really amazing and beautiful what you guys do. So thank you.
Yeah. Just thank you for all you do in our community, because it is needed, and it's a very sad time for a lot of families. So I've been there with family members, and it's tough. So
And
thank you for what you do.
Yeah. And your new building's coming along nicely.
Yes, it's opening, we think in May in
that's
Newport
great.
Richey. So
Yeah.
we're proud to have been serving Pasco County for over 30 years. So thank you
That's
so
good.
much for your support. We're very grateful.
Okay. All right. Y'all join me down front.
Seth's got it. I'm going to stay up here.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
One, two, and three, just a couple. There we
Okay, now we'll go to Res 3.
Okay. Mrs. Wilde, would you like to come up? Would you like to stay seated? Is that easier for you? She can stay seated if it's...
Yeah, I'm David Wilde, son of Anita Wilde at 5612 Glenhurst Lane, and she's a 40-year resident of Pasco County. And last month, she just turned 100 years old. It must be the food or the air or the water that keeps them alive and young.
Oh, my God.
I'm
It's
going to
the
read the
hard
resolution.
seats.
Okay, read the resolution now.
Resolution number 25-044, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, honoring Anita Wilde for her 100th birthday. Whereas Anita Wilde, née Montpete, was born October 29, 1924, and was the fifth of 6 children. And whereas in 1942, Anita Wilde was joined in holy matrimony with Virgil Wilde, and the loving couple shared 38 years of happiness together. And whereas she became a valued resident of Pasco County in 1984, when she relocated from Madison Heights, Michigan, as a homemaker and supportive member of the community. And whereas she is the mother of David Wilde and Denise Sims, the grandmother of Michelle Sheridan, Colleen Sheridan, Jeanette Covington, and Patrick Wilde, and the great-grandmother of Charles Covington and William Covington. And whereas, as Anita approaches her 11th decade, she is active with her friends, family, and the community as her health permits. And whereas Mrs. Wilde celebrated her 100th birthday on October the 29th, 2024, an occasion which was commemorated with great joy in remembering the past, giving thanks for the present, and anticipating the future. And whereas it is fitting that the Board of County Commissioners should recognize those citizens who are celebrating such a milestone in their venerable lives. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County recognize this momentous achievement of one of Pasco County's citizens and wishes for Anita's continued good health and happiness in the years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby honors and congratulates Anita Wilde on the celebration of her 100th birthday and extends its best wishes to her. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 12th day of November 2024.
Move to approve.
You got a motion?
Second?
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well,
Motion approved 5-0. Ms. Yeager?
well, first of all, happy birthday. You look beautiful. Well, Miss Anita, I looked it up, and milk was 35 cents a gallon back then, and gas was 21 cents a gallon. So things have come a long way. First of all, I want to just say what an amazing celebration and milestone this is. I'm sure you and your family have been enjoying celebrating. My great-grandpa, he lived to be almost 105, so I know how special this is, and I hope for you that God continues to bless you and your family, and you have many more years to go. So, you want to say anything?
I'd say congratulations. I had a grandmother that made it to 95, other relatives to 99, but nobody's made it to 100, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Wade?
Oh, yeah.
Started.
I can't even imagine. It's just so wonderful, and you look like you're in wonderful health too. So, congratulations, and to have so much family around you. And who are the folks with you here today? So
I'm her son, and I used to own a restaurant in Dade City 40 years ago, and Mr. Oakley was down the road. I was across from Lakes Pasco.
And then who else is with you here today?
Pardon?
Who else is here with you?
Oh, my wife,
Okay.
Catherine,
And?
who started teaching right here in Dade City at the elementary school, and then she transferred to Gulf High because they needed somebody for IB.
Ah.
Yes.
Well.
And his stepmother was my son's teacher.
I can't even put all that together.
My mom would be a little bit upset with that, but that's a first.
That's funny.
And then we have our good friend Karen King.
Yep, hi,
who
Miss
helped
King.
us set up everything.
Well, we are so honored to have you here today, and I know we were supposed to have you last month, right? But the hurricane got in the way, so just congratulations and
Okay,
and
thank you.
that's wonderful.
All right, Mr. Waver.
I'll make it simple. How about everybody join me in singing the most out-of-key song on the face of the earth?
That'd be from-
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Wiley. Happy birthday to you.
Well, I guess I'm the last one to speak, but what I want to know is the secret, because I only have 21 more years to go till I reach her age, and I plan on getting there. So, but I won't be sitting here at that time. So, but it's wonderful that you're here with us today, and you've seen so much of the changes in the world that the changes seem to happen quicker now than they did from when you think way back at what changes happened. So, but a great time. So.
We go back a long ways to Pasco. We got relatives, and her brother was a brother at St. Leo's, and he ran the cattle ranches, which now are subdivisions.
Wow.
Right. Hell yeah.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. We'll go down and take a picture. So.
I'll stay up here. Hey, does your AP have the address?
Look at her. Man, that's so awesome. She's got more hair than me.
Oh, I have it, I'm sorry. I got sidetracked.
Didn't you never get it to you?
You got to keep him in line. We want him to make 100 days.
All righty, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Take a couple. One more. And we got it.
She's the parents of all five. As a senior or what? That's not her last name. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you say that?
Now let's move to Res 4.
Okay, do we have anyone here for human trafficking? If you'd like to come up to the podium, please. Welcome.
I recognize these folks.
Resolution number 25-042, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, recognizing the 10th anniversary of Pasco County Commission on Human Trafficking. Whereas human trafficking is a crime against a person whereby through exploitation, an individual is compelled to work or engage in a commercial sex act through force, fraud, or coercion, thereby being stripped of their rights and humanity. Traffickers typically use multiple means to control their victims, including beatings, rape, isolation, forced drug and alcohol dependency, withholding of documentation, and psychological and emotional abuse. And whereas the Pasco County Commission on Human Trafficking, PCCHT, was created by the Board of County Commissioners in 2014 to combat this horrific crime through education, awareness, and advocacy efforts guided by leaders from the sectors deemed critical to effectively combat human trafficking, such as law enforcement, the school district, healthcare professions, child welfare, nonprofits, businesses, faith-based organizations, the hospitality industry, institutions of higher education, and survivors. And whereas in the past decade, the PCCHT has trained over 15,000 individuals in Pasco County and throughout the state, made over 6 million impressions with its awareness campaigns, implemented anti-trafficking curricula in all Pasco County middle and high schools a year before it was mandated by the state, created a signage ordinance that has been replicated by other counties, and developed a comprehensive training for county employees with accompanying awareness materials. And whereas the PCCHT has collaborated with numerous community partners, including county government departments, anti-trafficking organizations, regional task force and coalitions, faith-based organizations, businesses, first responders, and youth-led organizations to further its mission, goals, and objectives. And whereas, in partnership with all 5 local law enforcement agencies, the PCCHT developed a research initiative to collect data on human trafficking in Pasco County. Through its involvement with the USF Trafficking in Persons Lab, the PCCHT supports research efforts aimed at gaining a better understanding of the scope of human trafficking, not only in Pasco County, but around the state. And whereas the PCCHT hopes to continue its education, awareness, advocacy, and prevention efforts by collaborating with community partners that work with populations that are vulnerable to being trafficked, creating targeted educational materials, implementing awareness campaigns, supporting the work of other anti-trafficking organizations, and promoting youth-led efforts. And whereas, despite the dedicated efforts of the PCCHT, much work remains to be done to eradicate human trafficking from Pasco County. The exploitation of people for profit has no place in our community, and opportunities remain to protect the most vulnerable among us and to restore freedom, dignity, and justice to victims and survivors of human trafficking. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby thanks members of the Pasco County Commission on Human Trafficking, past and present, for their work combating human trafficking in Pasco County, and offers support for their ongoing efforts to make Pasco County a safe place for all citizens. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 12th day of November, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. So we got how many spokespersons today? About 8 or 9? Or?
Just 2 of us will speak today. About 10 years and just a phenomenal impact into the community. Brian Hoban, Director of Community Services. And I just want to take a moment to provide a few thank yous. First and foremost, a thank you to the Board of County Commissioners for your support over the past 10 years of this amazing advisory board. Commissioner Yeager, I want to thank you. I know your time on this advisory board has been short, but very impactful, and we know that you have dedication and passion towards this topic, so thank you very much. Jeff Steinslater, I want to thank you in the County Attorney's Office. Elizabeth Blair serves specifically as the County Attorney for this advisory board, and she does a phenomenal job. Later today, we have an amendment to the Code of Ordinances that she was tremendously helpful on, so we want to thank her for all the help and all the dedication she's provided this advisory board over the past decade. She's been tremendous, so I want to thank her. Also want to thank Tracy Toner, our misdemeanor probation manager. She is the county liaison for this board, goes to all their meetings and does a phenomenal job of helping them connect with the board and on the government side of what they need to be able to continue to operate. And also, lastly, I really want to thank this board, this advisory board. They're the ones, the boots on the ground out in the community doing amazing things and have been for the past 10 years. I want to introduce Leona Dean, their phenomenal chair from Baycare, and she's going to talk about some of the accomplishments and some of the things that they've done out in the community to help keep people safe over the past 10 years. So, Leona. Good morning. Thank you so much for acknowledging the work of the commission over the last 10 years. I actually had wrote out a whole speech, and I just decided I'm going to throw it out because I was standing here listening to Brian, and we're talking about people. This is human trafficking, and it's a human issue, right? And it takes people to effect change, and I am so privileged to be standing here with a group of people that you see behind me. The work that the commission has done, you heard about the accomplishments that we've made over the last 10 years, and we'd like to think that that has been very impactful, as evidenced by the fact that some of our efforts have been replicated around the state of Florida and even sent to some other states. At the end of the day, we're talking about vulnerable populations and individuals that are susceptible to being taken advantage of and exploited for profit. Working with the population that I did over the last 10 years, I lost a child to trafficking. She was murdered, and her body was dumped here in Florida. And I worked with children who were in foster care who were trafficking survivors. And I know that people standing up here have worked with individuals who've been trafficked. And I cannot emphasize enough how much they have a passion for this topic, how much that they care about the people that we are working to serve, and about how much they care about protecting the community. We are facing such unique challenges when it comes to human trafficking now. We are talking about AI-generated sexual abuse material. We are talking about weaponizing everyday technology to target and recruit and groom our children. So we asked you 10 years ago for your help and support, and you gave it to us unconditionally, and we've been so grateful for that. We still need your support moving forward as we tackle these issues. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Alan Wilkett, Ken Killian, Kelly Sin, and Toby Caroline, who are 4 members that have been with us from the very beginning. And they have been involved in every project that we have worked on from day one. And I just feel like they need to be recognized for that. And I also have to say a very special thank you to our survivor representative, who is also our vice chair, Laura Henderson. Everything that we do has to be survivor-led and survivor-informed. They have to be the voices that are at the front of this fight. And I cannot thank her enough for the guidance that she has given the commission over the last several years. And lastly, I want to thank all of you for your support. Commissioner Yeager, I know you just joined us, but as Brian said, you've brought tremendous passion to this. And Commissioner Oakley, you served with us, the longest tenure of any board member to serve with us. And we were so deeply grateful for all that you did for us. And to all of you who have supported us over the years, we're very appreciative. So thank you so very much.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Ms. Yeager.
Well, first of all, congratulations on 10 years, and thank you for all the work you guys do in the community and spreading awareness to this. A little fact, I don't think I shared with you, but probably about a year ago, I called Commissioner Bradford and asked if there were any openings on the board to sit on human trafficking. So when I got put on your board, I was super excited. I'm really happy to serve with you guys, and you guys are boots on the ground. You're amazing. I don't think Leanna sleeps at all. I really, if they say she sleeps, I need proof that she sleeps, because you guys are the most hardworking group I've ever met. So thank you for all you do for our county. And if I could just add, county staff has been phenomenal. They are amazing. Brian and Tracy and Elizabeth Blair and Tambry Lane are people who've worked with us for the last decade, but countless other departments have been involved, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge them and thank them as well. So thank you.
Mr. Mariano.
Well, from being here 10 years ago to see the great progress you've made and the great enthusiasm from the workshop you did at Dade City just a little while ago with the Women's Club, I mean, thank you for getting the word out, for making it aware, and you're saving people, so thank you for all.
Okay. Ms. Starkey.
And I want to say, your reputation is well known throughout the state, if not the country, and it's always wonderful to brag that we were the first in so many things, so I do that all the time. Great work, and I know we mentioned it about sexual human trafficking, but there's other kinds of human trafficking as well. And so we have to be mindful that sometimes people are forced to work without pay, so we just have to keep our eyes, ears, and hearts open. And just thank you for your dedication and for all the work you do. Great job.
Mr. Waitman.
Thanks, Chair. It's good to be copied around the state. It's the ultimate form of flattery. I mean, you guys should be incredibly proud that you're setting the standard of what this type of, battle presence needs to be in our state. And you're absolutely right. exploitation of people for profit has absolutely no place in Pasco County, the state of Florida, the United States of America, and in this world. So thank you all. You're a small but mighty group on the front lines, but know that we're behind you, and I hope everybody else in this crowd is behind you. So call upon us anytime, and we're happy to take up arms with you.
Oh, it's my turn. When I first started and got on the human trafficking board, what amazing work y'all did. I mean, people didn't realize how nationally known our group right here in Pasco County, being a small group really, was nationally known all over the country for human trafficking, working against it and keeping it away from us and trying to really push it away. But many people copied what you were doing, so they all got better, but we still, there's a lot of work ahead of us. So, but when Commissioner Bradford came on board, I turned over, I think I'd been on about 4 years, and I turned over to him, and he wanted to be a part of that board, and his desire was to serve in that area. So he thought so much of y'all and of what y'all did. So, but then when Ms. Yeager, she's joined us, I immediately turned, I think within a week or two, I turned everything that he had before over to her. And of course, she's done a very good job in being with y'all and working with you. So, and I know her heart's in the right place for all that you do. We all are. So, but thank you so much, each and every one of you. For those that are not with you anymore, that first started, to those that have joined since and a part of it, all of you have done a great job at what you do in Pasco County and really nationally. It's a great, it doesn't seem like thank yous enough, but thank you. So.
All right, go ready. 1, 2, and 3, just a couple. And we go.
Dock is destroyed.
Okay, that's the end of our resolutions, except for RS1, which we're going to do a time certain at 11:45. We will now start regular items. I believe presentation only, I guess R52.
Good morning, David Engel, Planning and Development, Economic Development Director. I'm here today to introduce Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young was retained by the county about 7 months ago to do an independent evaluation of our economic development and growth programming. We've had extensive engagements with the Pasco EDC and their stakeholders. The Ernst & Young team has had extensive experience working in the state of Florida, and it's our our recommendation that this study, even though it's a non-action item, be included in determination of future funding and programming here for the county and our economic growth program. So I'm going to turn it over to Jerry Lopez, who's the lead for Ernst & Young. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jerry Lopez. I'm a manager with Ernst & Young's Economic Development Advisory Services practice. And I'm really excited to be here with you today to present our final economic development strategy. It has been wonderful working with your staff, with David and Steve, as well as your many stakeholders in the county. We do work all over the county, and you are indeed in many ways on the leading edge of thinking about economic development and how you apply those tools and approaches to what you do. So I'd like to start just by saying that you are really at a pivotal juncture in your economic evolution. You boast a very strong economic position that outperforms national and regional benchmarks, and I'll go over some of that with you today. Through effective use of your programs, from economic incentives and other programs, you have made significant investments in attracting industries and developing some high-value industrial sites, yielding a very positive return on your investment. Your pro-business climate has fostered collaborative relationships with educational institutions, setting the stage for sustained economic vitality. However, with your rapid growth brings a lot of challenges that must be addressed. But as a forward-looking community, you have requested a strategy that takes a look at that. So this strategy outlines a path to be able to provide that prosperous future for both your businesses and your residents. So my goal for you today is just to go over some of our key insights, where that came from, our strategies, some priorities, and some implementation considerations for you. As part of our key insights, we conducted a variety of analyses and studies to be able to assess your current economic conditions. This included benchmarking Pasco County to 13 other counties across the country that are either in a similar position to you or are aspirational in nature. So this means that it's a growing county as part of a large metropolitan area. We conducted a target industry analysis to understand those key growth sectors, as well as evaluating your current programs and incentives to understand how those programs are performing. In addition, we did a robust stakeholder engagement process working with the Pasco Economic Development Council. And we also looked at leading practices throughout the country, and we did a strategy workshop to be able to refine those assumptions and create your priorities. From here, these key insights, I want to go over that with you, because these are going to set the stage and that context to provide the answer to the question, here's where we are now, but where do we go from here? So for decades, Pasco has been known as a bedroom community of the Tampa Bay region. Today, more than 600,000 people call Pasco home, which is a 14% growth over the last 14 years. And we looked at those benchmarks. As I said, these are counties, so this includes metro areas like Phoenix, Charlotte, Atlanta, Austin, Minneapolis, and Denver. Pasco is the third fastest growing communities among the benchmarks. So as you can see from this table, the Tampa Bay metropolitan area overall is only at 2%, and you are surpassing that. Wow. And with that, the jobs are also coming, and they're coming fast. And so they're coming also at the higher rate as most of your benchmarks as well. So you've added over 22,000 jobs over the last 5 years. And looking at those jobs in those current industry targets, you have advanced manufacturing, aerospace, aviation and defense, logistics, distribution, businesses and professional services, life sciences and medical technology, and high technology. The Pasco EDC project announcements in these 6 industries over the last 5 years included 8,000 announced jobs with over $915 million in capital investments in these target industries. Your growth and incentive programs, especially Penny for Pasco, has been a strong contributor to this growth. Since 2018, you have committed over $181 million to economic development, of which $62 million of that was from Pasco, Penny for Pasco. On the pie chart on the right, you can see that distribution across those programs such as site development, business development, workforce, and the ecosystem development. So in total, as I mentioned, in looking at some early results of the evaluation that we did, business development agreements have generated a public benefit of $4 for every $1 of investment that you've done. Now, this is a very small sample, given that they're still in progression, but so far it's a very positive return on your investment. So while this is extremely good news, there's still a lot more work to be done. As you know, you rely heavily on your residential tax revenues, and as you know, the cost of providing those residential services are oftentimes higher than the revenues that do come in. Specifically, the residential tax base continues to grow at an outsized pace. So the pie chart on the right shows that your percentage of residential is 85% of your total tax base. When you look at the combination of your commercial and your industrial property, that's only 10%. Ideally, you should really be more like at a 70-30 or a 70-20 split. So in addition, you do need more high-paying industries and residents to be able to be employed in those jobs. Your wages for 2023 were about $60,000, and household incomes are the lowest of the benchmarks. Furthermore, your talent pipeline really needs a boost to be able to meet those jobs of the future. Your STEM program completions are in the third quartile, and technology share of employment is in that last one. So meeting this talent demand is going to mean increasing your educational attainment overall, as well as your labor force participation. So as you can see from these charts, Pasco is one of the lowest of the quartiles. So as growth continues, you cannot lose sight of your expanding infrastructure needs and affordability needs. And while the county does have a lower cost of living than other counties in the Tampa MSA, median home prices have increased threefold since 2012. Additionally, conversations with stakeholders underscore a strong opportunity and focus on redevelopment, and also one for looking at the image and quality of place. So as Pasco continues to evolve, really need to look at that to be able to attract some of those future opportunities. So this is your strategic framework. So after completing our research, analysis, and engagement, 4 strategic priorities have emerged as foundational to your roadmap for the future that addresses the collective aspiration of the community for the diversification of your economy and that balanced growth that enhances the quality of life and place for all residents. So this strategic framework illustrates the priorities and the strategies to guide your growth and development over the next 15 years. And specific programs and initiatives may evolve over time due to shifting community dynamics and global trends. But overall, your framework should remain intact. So this is the roadmap or your story map for your future. So the priorities are economic diversification of the economy. So this is about increasing growth in your higher wage jobs and traded industry sectors, building a workforce that responds to the future employment needs of the county, catalyzing those redevelopment opportunities that stimulate economic activities and enhance that quality of life, and elevate your image and quality of place. So the supporting strategies are here, and I'll go over them in a minute. So overall, what is new or different about this strategy than others that you have in place? Well, as your key insight showed, you excel in numerous economic areas, and you should maintain those successful activities. This strategy, however, introduces a shift towards initiatives for some enhanced growth. So intensifying the county's current focus on 5 key industry areas, especially life sciences, is going to be important. securing land for future employment with site and corridor development and product readiness is going to be very important to be able to meet the more recent market needs of smaller industrial buildings. Sustaining and growing small, new, and existing businesses is going to be incredibly important. As you know, that's really the backbone of the jobs here in the county. And with that, you need to create some stronger collaborations among your workforce and industry partners. You do yeoman's job and lots of great activity, but more needs to be done to really prepare that workforce for the future. You need to activate those redevelopment opportunities and also work on that image and quality of place. So as I go through briefly these priorities and strategies, they are in sequential order, and we have highlighted with that yellow P where some of those could be potential penny for Pasco activities. And we've also bolded those activities that could be priorities or that could be done first in the short term. So first, on the continued diversification of the economy, this is about a concerted effort to attract and nurture those industries that offer those high-wage jobs and help foster that diverse economy. So focusing on efforts on the identified target industries and enhanced incentives for business attraction and expansion, foreign direct investment, and innovation will aid in maximizing that return on your investment. Additionally, more industrial and commercial site development and its support infrastructure is needed to address that imbalance of the current county's commercial tax base. So by focusing on this, focusing on small and new and existing businesses, the county can achieve growth and quality employment and a broadened commercial base. And this could be done, again, through that target industry approach, specific site and industry development, so more concentrated efforts there, and those business support services. For strengthening your talent pipeline, so as the population and career opportunities grow, so will the need for initiatives to strengthen that talent. So this is meant to serve both businesses and residents, and that requires a strong collaboration from the public sector, private sector, education, and training partners, and your nonprofit providers. You can create a competitive advantage that will attract businesses seeking that skilled labor pool, while also ensuring that your residents can access that quality employment opportunities. So this can be done through ecosystem alignment, specialized training and initiatives, and some worker support services. For redevelopment, there are areas of Pasco, as you know, that need revitalization. And there are large areas of underperforming and underutilized commercial spaces, particularly those that are over-retailed with very small parcel sizes and older housing stock. So this, with partnership with your cities and your CRAs, targeting those areas for redevelopment and encouraging more productive uses, will stimulate economic activities, enhance your property values, and improve your overall resiliency in those areas. Given these challenges, focused attention is needed for a unique toolbox of programs to be able to address those unique needs. So this can be done as well through the alignment of efforts, improved processes and programs, and a new kind of focused county redevelopment function. In terms of elevating your image and quality of place, Pasco has a lot to offer, and it's known for its quality of life. And elevating the image will take intentional investments that protect and accelerate your vibrancy and that authentic brand that you're known for with current and future residents. And a commitment to working with regional partners is needed to be able to do that. So continued place-based investments, working on some brand building, and regional collaboration will be important. So understand that this is a lot of information, and there's much more in our report that explains a lot more of this, but I did want to suggest some additional implementation considerations for priorities of what, how to be able to put the plan into action and get started on the path. And so this answers the question, kind of which activities could be done in the short term. So really looking at your incentives, creating a formalized policy, looking at expanding that toolkit in these very specific areas and increasing that access to capital for small businesses is going to be really important. On your talent side, there needs to be kind of more of a collaboration between the existing partners, perhaps bringing in additional partners, looking at a consortium. So we suggest a steering committee to help put that together and see what else needs to be done, and empowering your current employers to look at fully leaning into those tools of what's needed for upskilling programs and strengthening those partnerships. For redevelopment, it's about dedicating some county personnel to conduct that outreach for that focus effort, looking at a suite of financial incentives and programs in those targeted zones, and looking at investment in some pilot projects. For image in place, it's continuing to look at a funding mechanism to support those high impact developments that help to create that quality of life, look and feel, and for live, work, and play in Pasco, and looking at those brand elements and leveraging the relationships with Tampa Bay as a whole. You need to take more advantage of that. Just real briefly, I'm not going to go into these, but I'm sure that you're thinking, like, what could this look like and how has this happened in other parts of the county? So giving you an example for the life sciences sector strategy, this is Roanoke, Virginia. And they developed a sector strategy that included coordination, making the region a hub of healthcare, research and technology, targeting small business resources like startups and accelerator programs, and included public investment for a shared lab facility. So in Catawba, North Carolina, they've been focusing on workforce with strategic planning, capital investment, and like a building. So I wanted to bring this one up given kind of your investment. But most importantly, they have a shared leadership for these workforce initiatives. That's really important to keep it moving. On the redevelopment side, you don't need to look very far. There's lots of great examples all over Florida. One of the most interesting ones is in downtown Kissimmee. In their CRA, they have funded a tool for some catalytic development that helps to reduce or eliminate those financial gaps, especially for small developers, with a variety of funding and flexibility of those award amounts. And they've had some good success with some of this. From a branding perspective, there's some interesting examples of places that have blended their economic development messaging and their tourism messaging together. Cincinnati has done a really good job of this one, where they have some compelling storytelling, some joint funding, and cohesive branding elements across multiple organizations where they all share some of those. So the success of the strategy overall heavily relies on the execution as well as effective alignment, coordination, and collaboration of the county's departments and its partners. The Planning, Development, and Economic Growth Department plays a critical role in this effort as they administer the incentives, they track the programs, initiatives, and monitor those contracts. The Pasco Economic Development Council will be integral to the ecosystem with those business development areas, as well as partnerships with Pasco Hernando Workforce Board and AmSkills for workforce development. You also need to consider some additional partners to be able to tackle some of these efforts in order for implementation. We also provided just some administrative guidance for managing and building some of these important partnerships, and that's really to clearly define kind of those roles and expectations for those partners, be able to share this information to be able to build that public trust and increase consistency in that reporting. And I think that will help to be very clear and transparent as you're using those, your funding sources. We've included some tactical steps for implementation with this process. Part of that is to switch to formalized agreements. That way you can be very clear on those roles, expectations, how you want that reporting to occur, how do you want those tracking measures so that you can better judge your return on investment. And with this, we do recommend looking at kind of your, when you're looking at your analysis for evaluating the programs, taking a look and being a little tighter on what those look like. So using your contracted job creation rather than more projections. So I think that will help in calculating that return on investment. So funding all of this is also a key consideration. When we looked at the analysis, we looked at those 4 areas that you've been working on, which is site development, business development, ecosystem development, and workforce development. So we do recommend keeping those categories, because that way you have a way to look to the past and see what you've done into the future and see how you're doing overall. It is important to keep some of that flexibility that you do have with some of those programs. That way you're able to respond to market forces as they come in. And we do know that as Penny for Pasco and some of the other funds are going to be important. We do recommend with some of the incentives with the Job Creation Incentive Program, which is a great program, one that's very unique to you, that isn't around in a lot of other parts of the country. But increasing that to really encourage those high-wage jobs is going to be important. So for Penny for Pasco funds, talked a little bit about your current distribution when we did that analysis, and in thinking about the future of how to be able to reflect this current strategy and how you apply that. The pie chart on the right looks at those key activities, and you can see how we've suggested that reallocation. So site development is your key one, with making sure you're making those investments to infrastructure and helping those developments with the buildings. So site development is going to be really important. The second, however, is workforce. In order to really prepare your workforce to meet that demand of the future, more funding to there is going to be needed. Next is going to be your ecosystem development. So this includes your existing business retention and expansion, your entrepreneurship, kind of your outreach to small businesses. Again, that's going to be very important, so that's in third. And then the last one is your business development. So this is your job creation incentive program. So these are kind of for every job that's created, those refunds so directly to businesses. And so we do recommend that going up a little bit. So lastly, sorry, this chart is a little hard to read, but did want to highlight your key performance indicators. So how do we measure success? How do we know that we're being successful in what we're doing? So we have identified some metrics throughout the report for each priority and strategy for you to track progress more granularly. You already do a good job of looking at your overarching internal KPIs. The ones on the left are your current ones. So we do recommend keeping those. But we are suggesting that you look at also more external KPIs tied to those that are a little bit simpler and more digestible for a consumer format that you can put in a dashboard, so that also the public can see how things are going and then how you're comparing overall. We have added some additional KPIs here, like labor force participation, associate's degree in business, new business starts, as one thing to keep track of as you go along. So thank you very much. I appreciate kind of your attention and kind of looking at kind of the importance of Pasco County's economic growth over the next 15 years, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Mr. Waitman?
Thank you, Chair. On page, I think it was the first document that we had, page 34 in your report, you allude to the fact that to break up the ready sites into smaller parcels. I'm concerned with that recommendation, because if we break that up, break those ready sites up, we already lead, the state in commercial zonings. If we break up these ready sites, my concern would be we'd have more fast foods, drive-throughs, smaller commercial style businesses versus holding those ready sites for what they are, for very deliberate, big economic development and true job creating, generational job creation and manufacturing here in Pasco County. So I wasn't very comfortable with that recommendation. I think that if a smaller industrial site comes in, we take it on as a case-by-case basis, and if we need to break up a ready site for 10 or 15 acres for a industrial use, not necessarily a commercial use, that would be more appropriate. But that recommendation kind of is concerning me. And what led y'all to, what was your thought process behind that bullet point? Because we spent a tremendous amount of time in Pasco County working on those ready sites. And it's not the county, really. The credit for those ready sites go to the landowner. You know, the landowner deliberately said, hey, I want my property to do these things. And that's rare, right? The residential builder can come in and pay him a lot of money right now, and they can get paid today versus the long play. So I appreciate the landowners, you know, willing to do that for us. So what was your thought process behind that recommendation?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner, for that question. And I want to clarify. So the ready sites are very important, and the ones that are there, you absolutely need to be able to retain those as much as possible. And we do not recommend them necessarily going to commercial. It's mainly just for industrial. So I want to make that clear. And if that's not clear, we'll be happy to make that correction in the report, that this is for kind of industrial, manufacturing, those targeted industry sites. Where it came from about the need for smaller sites was in conversations with developers and other businesses where they're looking for those smaller land. Also, that have that job creation element to it, but they couldn't find it and they just weren't available. So it's not about getting rid of the current ones. It's about expanding kind of your availability of those sites and some of that product readiness.
When you say that they weren't available, do you know if those developers for the industrial sites came in and asked if a smaller portion of it was available? I guess I asked that because I don't necessarily want our messaging to be very rigid, like only big fish can come, right?
Right.
So if that's was our message, I don't want that to be misunderstood. If there's a smaller industrial user, you know, and if they have a footprint to grow as their business grows, that we don't accidentally box them out.
Yep, and there's a lot, as we're seeing that market demand, we're seeing a lot more of those needs for those smaller sites. So, but they are still kind of those manufacturing and as part of your targeted industries.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Wow, there's so much in this report. I don't even know where to begin. I'm looking forward to sitting down. I don't know if you're going to be gone, maybe with David and Mike, and really digesting this. Lots of interesting comments, and I love to see examples of where your suggestions are working somewhere else, because we don't have to reinvent everything. We can just take best practices from other places. Some of the things I thought were interesting is like on that last chart with the metrics, making sure that we're not turning everything into residential and leaving our, you know, industrial space. I mean, that's really critical. But I wonder how we can do that. Are you saying the county should buy this property? And then I know this is how Pittsburgh redefined itself.
Yes.
And I'm a great follower of that former mayor and all his work at the ULI. So that's a question for me. And also, as a county, we don't have CRAs. So what is our equivalency of a CRA? Is that a TIF area? I mean, what is it? And I love what you were saying about the corridors or areas that have such small parcels and that need to be redeveloped, and you know, we need to be getting our highest and best use on these. And I immediately am thinking of US 19. Mm-hmm. So any comments on those things I just said?
Yes, so in terms of land, you are correct. That was one of the examples that we looked at was Pittsburgh, and so many places around the country do use land banks and like industrial development authorities to be able to secure those properties and then do public-private partnerships to be able to turn them over. That way you're holding that land for industrial purposes. We do know that this is you know, it's a double-edged sword because then you're taking those properties off the tax rolls. But
just temporarily.
Yeah, but this is looking at for your future opportunities for growth and your future opportunities for job creation. It's important. So there's lots of examples of industrial development authorities and land authorities where the government, so cities, counties, do purchase that land. So that's one of the things we did put in there for you to be able to to consider to see how you're able to secure those lands.
You know, we had some land board members on State Road 54 on the south side by Black Lake Road that came available, that is being used to sell landscape tile. But we could have bought it, put it together, and made it a prime piece of industrial or commercial property, and it's frustrating because we haven't done that, so it got bought by the neighbor and they just expanded. I don't even think it's legal there. They're tile distribution business, so that could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be on a major highway.
And Commissioner, to answer your first question about since counties don't have CRAs, what are some of your options? You can do kind of a tax increment kind of financing district without having a CRA, where you have more control and you can kind of outline it. Of course, that's a discussions with your attorneys about how that works, but as an example of another county that has done it is Manatee County. They have a specific kind of tax increment financing district where they specifically are looking at for redevelopment and have targeted kind of things that they wanted to do to be able to use those funds for that.
So I think there's such good information in this, and that we need to figure out how to move forward. I don't know, maybe we're going to workshop this, and I don't know how we want to do it. I'll get with you guys, but I'm so glad that we did this. Thank you very much, David. Great information, and you know, as the co-founder of AMP Skills, I'm glad you mentioned that. We have some exciting news coming up at the next board meeting on that, but certainly workforce for me has always been a real passion, and I can see us elevating the quality of life when our residents have great jobs, and we're doing a great job bringing them here,
okay.
but our challenge is big. So well, thank you so much.
Mariano?
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, I appreciate the independent study. I look forward to like a workshop part with getting Bill Cronin, our PDC, everybody involved, and also Superintendent John Legg and the school board to try to talk about what partnerships. He's talked very highly about going with vocational STEM programs, et cetera. So I think the timing's probably perfect to use this study to go further. I like what you said about industrial sites, trying to work our own. And I don't know if we need to own our own, but if we need to put infrastructure in place around it. So rather than into the site itself, that 160-acre site up in Hudson, close to a high school, close to a very area that we could really use some jobs as well up in that area. I think if we just work on the infrastructure around it, the potential there could be huge. And I just think that working together with all our parties around us is a great way to go. AM Skills could be a great, even bigger operation right up there as well on that same site. So I think we definitely have some great opportunities to work with. So thanks for the report.
Okay. Yeah, I think the report, it's loaded with a lot of things we need to be looking at, and I think workshop is ideal for this report because we need to understand it. We need to know which way to go and do the right thing for our community and our citizens here in Pasco. So there's got to be a very balanced look at what happens in Pasco County from now on, because we can't just have residential, and we've had just residential without a lot of businesses, and since then we've brought in a lot of businesses along with some residential that actually has jobs for folks that live here in Pasco, also can work here in Pasco. So in the past we were not like that at all, but that is our future, and that's why we need to keep working toward that. We've done, I think, a pretty good job at that, but we can do better. So, but a workshop in the near future would be good for us to study this.
As part of the report on that, Commissioner, you do have a lot of commuters that live in Pasco and commute out, and most of them are in business and professional services. So you do have an opportunity there, kind of as you build and attract some more of those kinds of jobs, that then your residents won't have to drive to Tampa or down to Pinellas County for that. You can keep them here.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Okay, thanks for your report.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, move on to P53. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me, R53. Excuse me.
All right, good morning, everybody. Justin Grant, Director of Public Infrastructure, Fiscal and Business Administration. So I know we've got a large group of folks here with a time certain at 11:45, so I'll go as quickly as I can. So I have to read the full title into record here, and I will do that. It is not pictured on the screen, but we will read it. PIFPA 25077 is a series resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, supplementing resolution number 20-221, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $90 million, aggregate principal amount of the Water and Sewer Refunding Revenue Bond Series 2024, and one or more series of the county to finance the cost of current refunding of all or a portion of the Water and Sewer Refunding Revenue Bonds Series 2014A and Series 2014A, Water and Sewer Improvement Bonds, and Series 2014B, appointing the bond registrar and paying agent, and approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of paying agent and bond registrar agreement, appointing an escrow holder and approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of an escrow deposit agreement, making certain covenants and agreements in connection therewith, providing severability and providing for an effective date, authorizing certain officials of the county to execute any document or to take any actions required to offer the bonds at a negotiated sale, and in connection with the issuance of said bonds, award bid number RFQP LK 25-010 B of A Securities Incorporated for banking underwriting services, Water and Sewer Refunding Bond Series 2024 in the total not to exceed amount of $90 million. So tried to save your eyes here from putting that on the screen, but I'll go through these slides pretty quickly and leave time at the end if there's any questions. So back in September 2014, the Board of County Commissioners approved Resolution 14-284. This was an issuance of water sewer bonds 2014A and 2014B series. This was a combination of new money and a refunding at the time. The long and short of what we're doing today is we're doing a refunding series. There is no new money in this deal, and so we have a call provision in that deal that allows us to come up here and do that when the financial situation makes sense for us to do so. And right now, preliminary analysis shows that it does. All right, so we ultimately decided to go a negotiated sale route, right? And so this slide actually should state a negotiated sale process, right? Because there is not a pricing, that pricing will happen actually in about 30 days from now when we go through this process here. So here's a quick timeline, right? Back in earlier in October 22nd, this board approved the piggyback agreement to get investment banking services contract that Sarasota County utilizes. And so there's an underwriter pool, which allows us to go through these processes a little bit quicker, and in this case, save us more money. And so ultimately then, on that same day it was approved, we went through and did the bid process along with our partner here, PFM, as our financial advisor. And then ultimately on October 29th, we did select Bank of America Securities as a primary and Raymond James as our secondary for this series. Okay, so potential savings, this is where we get to save money. Now, I will notate here really quickly is that the market moves around quite a bit. We did have some major things happen within the country, right? We just had a presidential election, and so as a result, Treasury yields and things like that move around quite a bit. The bond will not price for another 30 days, so there's estimates and things like that here. But bottom line, we expect to save north of 5% on an NPV basis on this deal. So it's a good deal, and we're excited to get it done. So ultimately, there's a series of actions here we need to take to allow this to move forward, and so I'll read through these here pretty quickly. We need to approve the series resolution. This does delegate the chairman the authority to accept the offer of the underwriters to purchase those bonds with those two conditions that are named, and I'm not going to read through those in the interest of time right here, A and B on the slides pictured here. Also, we need to approve the award of the bid, right? We named that one earlier, and that is going to be Bank of America as our lead and Raymond James as the co-manager. This is a deal that's not to exceed $90 million. And then finally, there's a delegation of authority inside of this resolution that delegates the authority to the chairman to allow us to go through the issuance of the bonds. So that is the quickest I can make $90 million sound while going through and getting all of our legal things done. So does the board have any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Maryland?
So in light of the presidential election, right before that, they dropped their Fed rate down 0.25. Do you think these rates may drop further, and we would be better off waiting to see if it does trick down for?
So that's an excellent question, and Brent Wilder is here from PFM, and I anticipated a little bit of that, and I'll let them give kind of a quick little insight. We've tried to make sure we leave ourselves enough flexibility. PFM is, of course, watching that for us. So, Brent, I'll turn it to you. Good morning, Brent Wilder, PFM Financial Advisors. Pleasure to see you again. We do not predict where rates will go. We do know that we have gotten the Fed a 25 basis point reduction. We think they are done for the near term. So for the period of time between now and pricing, we would not expect anything further, absent some unforeseen international event that might prompt them to do something else. Overall, the markets have settled. Rates went up initially after the election results over concerns of inflationary pressures by those that were making such determinations. We have seen, though, in the week that has passed, things seem to have come back down. Net, the pre-election analysis we are running versus the numbers we're running today, it's all 10 basis points differential on this particular financing. So did that address your question, sir, or no?
So they're pretty stable where they're going to be. You don't think they're going to drop down?
We're not expecting anything in the near term to suggest a further reduction in the rates that would affect this, keeping in mind the Fed only impacts overnight rates. We're going out 15 plus years. The markets make those own determinations separate from the Fed.
What were the rates 4 years ago?
Lower than they are today.
So if the new president coming in was the president was from before, he had lower rates, what makes you think they would be trending to go down as opposed to up?
We do expect overall they will continue to trend down. They've peaked this past summer in our estimation. The Fed has so far followed through with what their policy decisions that they will continue a cycle of easing. We've seen them follow through on that now. And there's debate over whether they'll continue to do that or if the new levels are the new normal. We do expect short-term rates to continue to come down into next year, but again, longer-term rates we're not as optimistic in the near term.
By the logic. I just think the previous president, who just got reelected, had low rates. The president before him had low rates. This one had a different philosophy about it by slowing the economy down to raise the interest rates up. I just get a feeling it's going to keep on dropping down as it did before, and his different way to run the economy.
I very much hope you're correct.
But you'll continue to pay the interest rates that we're locked in on now if we don't refinance. That's the the game, not the game, but that's the calculated risk you've got to take. Is this refinancing is designed to save the board money? It's existing money, it's existing debt, and if you wait for rates to go down, you're still paying interest on the money we've already got outstanding.
Yeah. If in fact, maybe a year or two from now, we find rates have dropped down maybe a full percent, is there a possibility for us to go back and look at it to refinance again, save more money?
The way that we are currently envisioning, there would be a 10-year call protection period for investors similar to the bonds that are out there today. So to county attorney's point, we are past the call date now, so every day that we go past the opportunity to refinance, those are savings that we cannot get back. So if you fast forward, rates would have to drop precipitously lower to make up for the savings we would be foregoing between today and a year from now.
Okay. Mr. Cavallo?
And I just want to add, we have a large debt portfolio, so in the averages, when debt comes up for these call provisions and interest rates 2 or 3 years from now are substantially low, we'll see savings on those debt issuances as well. So, across our portfolio,
right,
it works. I would recommend we move forward with it.
Entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. We will now move to R56. It is also time certain, so it's the right time. Mr. Murphy.
Good afternoon. Board, it's an honor to be here today. I am going to call John Michael up, President of the Fire Union, and I think it's appropriate. This will be his last meeting. He's moving on. And I know he has fought valiantly for the last 10 years for the men and women in this fire department. And I'd like the members here to give him a round of applause for everything he's done and the support. There are so many benefits that he fought for, and as we stand here today to honor and appoint Chief Gwynn, I think it's appropriate that I point out that everything he's fought for, and he's going to speak after I'm done. But so thank you for allowing me that. Good morning. As you know, my name is J.J. Murphy. I'm the Assistant County Administrator for Public Safety. Today I'm excited to present Ryan Gwynn for consideration and confirmation of the Pasco County Fire Chief. Chief Gwynn is a 25-year veteran of the fire service, of which 20 years have been with Pasco County Fire Rescue. Prior to coming to Pasco County, Chief Gwynn worked nearly 5 years with Dade City Fire Department, which, as you know, merged with Pasco County Fire in 2003. Chief Gwynn is a highly motivated professional individual who has progressed internally through our organization and experienced in nearly every rank. Chief Gwynn is well respected and trusted amongst his peers and is known to be a proven leader. Chief Gwynn is task-oriented and extremely organized. Most recently, Chief Gwynn has worked as the interim fire chief, where I've personally witnessed his ability to effectively manage a large team of professionals. To solidify this, Chief Gwynn was at the helm while the entire fire rescue team worked diligently and tirelessly to effectively respond to 2 major hurricanes where more than 1,200 citizens were rescued in less than a month. I realize that Chief Gwynn could not have done this on his own, but I've personally witnessed the trust and respect of the entire fire rescue team, who all came together during these trying times and worked tirelessly to meet the needs of Pasco County citizens they are sworn to protect and save. Previously, Chief Gwynn held the ranks of Assistant Chief, Deputy Chief, Division Chief, Captain, Driver Engineer, and Firefighter Paramedic. Chief Gwynn holds a Master's degree in Public Administration, a Bachelor's degree in Fire Administration, both of which he graduated summa cum laude. Chief Gwynn holds multiple certifications and designations that make him well prepared for the honor of being our next fire chief. Today, Chief Gwynn is joined by his parents, his wife Stephanie, and his 3 children, all of whom fully support his commitment to become the next fire chief of Pasco County. It is because of the aforementioned that I, without reservation, graciously request your consideration to confirm Ryan Gwynn as the next fire chief of Pasco County. And I will let John Michael say his couple words. Keep it. Finance people took all the time.
Once again, I'm honored to stand before you representing Pasco firefighters. To some degree, today is bittersweet, as this is likely the last time I will have the opportunity to address the board from this position. My term expires at the end of December, and I have chosen not to seek re-election, to spend more time focused on my personal life and to provide the opportunity for a new generation of leaders to step forward. For the better part of the last 12 years, I have served in an elected position representing union firefighters in Pasco County, the last 6 as the president. During that time, by working together, we have propelled the agency forward and have become leaders in all aspects of the fire service community. There are undoubtedly a lot of things to be proud of as a Pasco firefighter. As you well know, we lead in the areas of occupational health and decontamination, mental and physical health, and our workload stress reduction initiative, transitioning to an industry-leading 24/72 work schedule. We fostered a proper work-life balance and very competitive employment practices. We cultivate professionalism in every aspect of our service delivery and provide top-notch fire and emergency medical services to the residents and visitors of Pasco County. Today, you all are all once again presented with an opportunity to make an incredible impact on the professional lives of your firefighters. There is no better choice. And by confirming Chief Ryan Gwynn as the new fire chief, you will once again demonstrate your commitment to the county's core values of respect, integrity, innovation, and service excellence. Chief Gwen is widely respected by his peers and subordinates alike. His rise through the ranks is a testament to his dedication to this agency and its more than 800 employees. He certainly possesses the experience, the credentials, and the education to lead us into the future, but most importantly, he understands the needs, the motivations, and the goals of the workforce because he was with us through the difficult times. He fought and struggled right beside us, and this perspective will guide him through finding the perfect balance of fiscal responsibility, operational efficiency, and protecting the well-being of the firefighters he commands. He values a positive relationship with labor and the limitless possibilities of a house united. He understands our unique culture and the things that make our department better than the rest. As I step aside, there is no greater accomplishment than to have brought us to this moment, with all that we have accomplished together, to witness the confirmation of Chief Ryan Gwen. He is a family man. He is a man of humility and kindness. He is strong and an effective leader. He is genuinely a good and decent human being that cares deeply for the community and its firefighters. We are proud to call him our brother and our friend, but we are most proud to call him the new Fire Chief of Pasco County Fire Rescue.
I won't belabor the point, but I'd like to add to that. JJ and I often talked about how our next fire chief was going to be an internal hire. So Ryan, well done. I think you've set the stage and shown that a career path is absolutely possible through the agency. And I've been observing you since even when I was interim county administrator, starting with Ian in that activation when that came forward. And it was very evident to me and evident to me now through this current activation how you are a true servant leader and you embody that humility and that of leadership that I think we need to carry this agency forward. So I just thank you for that and encourage the board to please confirm Chief Quinn in this role. I think he will do a fantastic job for us. Thank you.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Welcome.
Thank you to everybody, the board, Mr. Caballo, Murphy, John Michael, especially my wife. She's my motivator, so I get choked up pretty easily. Kind of humble, and I'm not here because of anything that I did special. I'm here because I wanted to be here to support the men and women that are wearing this uniform around me. This fire department is what it is because of these men and women right here, and of course the other 800 that are out doing what they're doing today right now. We are Florida's premier fire department. We're recognized nationally for what we do. We get phone calls weekly, emails every other week. Brevard County, Miami-Dade County, Jacksonville, Texas, Indianapolis, California, they're all calling, wanting to know why we're doing what we're doing. And the reason we're doing it is just because of these guys here, these men and women here. They're fantastic, they're committed, they love their job, they love this department, they love the citizens that they serve, and they have put their blood, sweat, and tears into making this department what it is today. And I'm just honored to be here, standing beside all of them at the front of this department. And we're gonna keep pushing forward, and I'm blessed for the opportunity. I thank you all for it. Thank you.
Mr. Whitten.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'm glad you said yes, Chief. And John Michael, I'm glad you kept it brief. No, congratulations to you and your family. Thank you and your family generationally for your service to Pasco County. It's special when you grow up in a place and you work from the bottom all the way to the top and you have an opportunity to get to lead a place that you're not ever going to leave from. No matter what, you plan on raising your family here. Hopefully they have another generation here, that this board creates an environment that your kids can go to school and they can come back or do whatever they do. But if they want to choose to live and work in Pasco and live a good life, that we help lead this county, for that opportunity to come for that next generation. And Chief, I have all the confidence in the world in you that you're going to do that for not just your family, but for the future generations of firefighters and paramedics here in this county. And I see across there some of the old timers and then the newer guys across the line. So Chief, thanks for hanging tough. Thank you for your commitment to Pasco County and just being a fantastic example of how to do the job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Ms. Starkey?
So congratulations, and I love hearing about the accolades that you all get. No doubt it's a big job, and it's one of the busiest fire departments in the state, or I don't know, the country. It's a really big job, so I know that you're up for it, and I look forward to working alongside you again. I enjoyed our time when we were out working on the disaster there on the west side, so I know you're going to do wonderful, and congratulations to you and your family and the department.
Ms. Yeager?
Well, I think if you stepped in, you didn't brave one hurricane, you braved 2 hurricanes. So everybody did a great job. I love your story of how you grew up and how, your dad was a fire chief also. Maybe one of you little guys or your daughter want to be in fire too. It's just a cool story, but congratulations. You already did amazing through the storm, and I know you will lead Pasco Fire. So great job, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Mariano?
Thank you. Chief Quinn, congratulations. Your career's been amazing. I'm so glad that it's grown here and you're graduating to the top spot. It's incredible to be able to see that happen. It's something we wanted to see happen through the whole thing. So everybody in this whole industry knows that you have potential to grow and get stronger and go and get the position as you did. It's phenomenal. I want to thank all the firefighters. Your leadership, saving all those rescues. I mean, saving lives through the storm that we went through was like phenomenal. When JG was telling us a story, it was just amazing to hear it. So we wish you all the best in the world. You're leading a great team here, and look for better things in the future too.
Thank you.
Well, it's left up to me, and he lives, I hate to tell everybody, he lives in District 1. And has for a while, so, but, and we're the largest district, and we got more things happening than anybody else, so.
We knew that was coming.
Y'all get tired of hearing me say that, but.
Let's talk
the
about
fact of it is,
GDP out of a district.
Each and every one of you, from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, y'all have some of the greatest brotherhood that any organization I've ever seen in my life. And y'all work together, live together, do the right things together for the citizens of Pasco County. And for that, I thank you. And for that, I thank you for your service that you've put in the past and your service in the future for the citizens of Pasco County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I had an idea. What if they all came up here? Then his family.
Well, I got a better idea. I have a better idea. Yeah. We're going to go outside by a new white.
It's beautiful.
White fire truck, which I'd never seen before, but it's a 50-year anniversary fire truck. We're going to take a break from here and go out.
Actually, I think you should hear our resolution.
Yeah. Oh, you can read the resolution. She'll read the resolution, then we'll go outside, and we'll actually break. At that point, after the picture, we'll break for lunch. We'll be back here to reconvene at 1:30 for public comments. So, all right. Resolution?
Resolution number 25-043, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, recognizing Pasco County Fire Rescue for its 50 years of outstanding service to the citizens of Pasco County. Whereas the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners is proud to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Pasco County Fire Rescue and to honor its past and present firefighting members for more than 50 years of fire protection to the citizens of Pasco County. And whereas the Pasco County Fire Rescue Department was initially formed as Pasco County Emergency Services, with the name changing in 1974 when the agency became a career fire department. And whereas fire departments are an integral part of community protection services in every locality of Florida, and during the last 50 years, the courageous and devoted firefighters of Pasco County Fire Rescue have valiantly responded to all types of fire and medical emergencies and have earned the praise and respect of the community in which they serve. And whereas Pasco County Fire Rescue has over 750 firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics who for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year for the last 50 years have went to the aid of our citizens during times of extreme distress. And whereas the brave and courageous firefighters of Pasco County Fire Rescue are prepared to risk their lives daily to help save the lives of others and to protect homes and property from the destruction caused by fire, flood, medical emergencies, and natural and man-made disasters. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners cannot express sufficient gratitude to these dedicated first responders who recognize that the preservation of life and property is a sacred responsibility and who make that responsibility their own by serving as firefighters. And whereas we should give special recognition to those who work so assiduously for the betterment of their communities and acknowledge the heroic good works performed by the members of Pasco County Fire Rescue. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby expresses its deepest appreciation to Pasco County Fire Rescue for its 50 years of dedicated service to the citizens and visitors of Pasco County. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 12th day of November, 2024.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So now we'll move out front for a photograph and then break for lunch. Mr. Murphy?
Can we get a couple photos of the board with
the
chief and his wife?
Yeah, we can do that here, and then we'll do a large picture outside. Okay, yeah.